because these properties, a lot of people, they weren't able to pay their taxes and the properties lie vacant. And when they lie vacant, these properties are being taken. They're being taken by the city. Lawyers, investors are bidding on them. And I'm not talking about properties that people live in. I'm talking about these are properties that are vacant. We're not taking anybody out of their home. We're getting vacant houses. And you see this list. This is an old list, but this list is just houses and houses and houses. And as I can make it bigger, the numbers that these people owe is astronomical. So there's this is what's driving the market of houses in Baltimore City. So now what's happening is these houses that have these big numbers, these big liens, they got all these liens, these properties are being taken and they're being taken and put on auction. So now what I think is the biggest deal in town is the one house at a time auction. And a lot of these properties are being taken and put on this auction. Now, this auction, you have to be vetted to get in. Also, you need $90,000 approval per property that you want to bid on. So that's where the hard money lender comes into play. He's going to approve you for, 200,000, 300,000 that you can now use to bid on these properties. When I first found out about one house at a time, I actually didn't know anything about being able to use a lender. I just did a refi and I had $90,000 in my account. And I was spending money and I just made it the cut. And it's like, okay, you could get one house. I'm like, man, I got $90,000 to get one house. Then, but if I went to a lender and I told the lender, hey, I got $90,000, they're like, oh, you can get 5 houses. So we kind of, along the process, I'm learning and I'm teaching and I'm just passing the gems and the knowledge. So Isaac, the hard money lender, can now get you approved for 3 houses or 4 houses to bid at the one house at a time auction. So like I said, there are many ways to get properties, but I think that this way with the one house at a time, I think it's the best way and the quickest way. Real quick, I'm just going to tell you, just go on a tangent real quick. I want to let you read an email, and I'm just going to give you the insight. Okay, so what we're looking at is the tax sale list, and this list comes out in the newspaper, which is called the Daily Record in Baltimore. And whenever the tax sale is about to take place, they have to put everything in the newspaper about what's taking place. So I want to hone in on a particular property on this list. If you look down here, I'm putting it right in the middle, 1913 Herbert Street. It's assessed for $19,000, and the person owed $755. Okay, so not much taxes. A little backstory: this young lady, she's elderly. She moved to Texas. She left her house abandoned, and her taxes might have been like $200. So that's probably like 3 years of back taxes, and it made it to this list. Okay. So a lawyer or an investor, they, at the tax sale that comes up once a year, they bought this property for $5,000. Okay. The owner, for $700, they're letting this house go. $700. Let me I'm gonna open up just a different menu real quick. 1913 Herbert Street, just to pull it up on like Zillow or something. Let me see. Just to kind of show you what, literally they only owed $800 and they let their house go. It's the one down here with the flower on it. So This is the house right here, the red house. So they owed $800 and they let their house go. So I found out, and this is just another way of getting properties, but this process takes a long time. And I think a lot of people, they want the now. I want the now, Rashad. I want the now. I want to buy the block now. I don't want to buy the block in a year or 2 years. I want to buy the block now. And because you want to buy the block now, that's where one house at a time comes in. That's where Ashton auction comes in, because you don't want to wait the time that it's going to take to get these properties. All right, so this is an email thread. Let me see. Okay. Let me just put in. I had an email thread with the person. Let me just put this in real quick. And I was trying to, and I thought I saved it just so you can kind of just see. Okay, hold on. Cancel. Okay. I'm gonna read it to you guys. I don't know if you can see it. Give me, can someone just say yes? I can see it. You can see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put on my Denzel Washington voice. No, I'm joking. I wrote to the lawyer. So now from the list, it was 755. I called the city and found out they purchased this for $5,000. I found that information. Then I reached out to him. I know he paid $5 for it, mind you. I know they paid $5. And I said, I would like to purchase it for $7,000. And I want to substitute my company in the foreclosure process. So the keynote that I want you to see is the date. We're at September 12th, 2022. I don't know if it's in this email thread and probably in this other one. Let's see. They countered, long story short, they countered at 10,000. They countered and said I could get it for 10. But we're in September 2022. Just last week, I think it's frozen. Just last week, they basically reached out to me and let me know that the property finally foreclosed on. So September 2022 to now, we're over, and they started this foreclosure process in February. February of 2022 is when they started their process. So this is another means to get houses that we can get for cheap, and I can teach you guys about it. But nobody wants to wait 2 years. They want the now. So the now, that's back how we get to one house at a time. So I'm going to show you two HUDs, and HUDs are basically, well, we can look at the auction results from the last auction real quick, and just to kind of see if you were at that auction, what would have been available. So now, yes, properties or so, some can go as low as 5,000, but not every house sells for 5,000. Some are more. It just depends. But some do sell for 5,000. As you see here, the very first house that went up at the auction sold for 5,000. So this is just the different prices that went up. This is a single family house that went for 95. Now you're like, wow, 95,000, but this is a single family house that's probably worth 400,000 that they got for 95. So it's a lot of upside. This one went for 10. That's still a good deal. 10,000. So not everyone is going to be 5,000, but these deals are still low enough that they're still good deals. And on a property, let's say a property that costs 50,000, right? Like this, you can have a hard money lender like Isaac come in, and you can put down 20%. Ike, you want to touch on that real quick?
How y'all doing?
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, how y'all doing? My name is Isaac West. I first started out, like Rashad said, when he first came in. What have been about 6-7 years now that we put different plans together that we've been investing in Baltimore. But just to touch on this right here, as far as with our lending company, we can actually fund up to 90% of the purchase price and 100% of the rehab budget as far as on certain deals. So for example, like if you've seen that house, for example, for 30,000, and your construction budget, if you look at the square feet, say it's about 1,200 square feet, you'll be looking at maybe like 120,000 as far as just doing the rehab and the construction of it. But the key thing as far as when it comes to these houses, you kind of want to focus on the ARVs of these properties. So 9 times out of 10, majority of the time, if you're doing something like usually like east side, most east side areas are like really booming. So those going for maybe 245, 250. So if you did, I don't know if you guys are like more on the money numbers. I'm a numbers guy, so I can always break down things down by numbers. So let me see if I can write it out for you guys real quick. Hold on. So for example, if your ARV is 250,000, hold on, let me see. Pull it up. If your ARV is 250,000 or something like that, right? And you did 30,000, and I'll tell you the exact amount of what you'll be paying out of pocket just to kind of build the whole thing. The total loan amount for the whole thing will come out to like 150,000. I wish I could have, like, I don't have my screen and things to kind of break it down, but to make a long story short, you'll be looking at maybe coming out of pocket maybe 10 to 15,000. But when but for me, a lot of times what I kind of use is sometimes I can use credit cards. I use HELOCs. There's so many different ways that you can kind of spin it to make all these things work for you. And it's so easy, especially when you have the right people in place to kind of show you the way. And especially in Baltimore City, you just got to be careful.
All right, thank you. And I'm gonna take over. So, like I said, there are properties that are being sold for 5,000. I myself have bought one for 5,000. Isaac has bought one for 4,000. And I'm just gonna show you a HUD real quick, just showing you that, I'm not just talking. We telling you the truth. As you see, West Initiative, that's Isaac and his company.
Right.
One house at a time. And there you go. Sales price 3,000. Closing costs 1,400. So total, if he got a house for 3,000. Now you wonder, like, how do you buy a property for 3,000 if the auction is 5,000, right? How do you buy a property for 3,000 if the auction is 5,000? So whenever the auction concludes, there's sometimes that properties don't get sold or no one picked them. And those properties you then can bid on. So now the average person doesn't know that they can bid a lower amount. As you see, these two properties, no one bid on them, and a person can bid on them. So the average person does not know that, hey, you can offer 3,000 and they'll accept it. I know, Isaac knows, but most people don't know. And sometimes when you have somebody who can help you, like let's say the mentorship costs some money, right? Me just telling you, hey, if you want that property, you could buy it for 3,000. That just saved you 2,000 because you might have offered 5. So it's a lot of different ways that we have to get properties. Actually, one of my mentees, put a bid on this property. And guess what? You could right there make an offer. He made an offer for 3,000 and they accepted it. Now, with anything, you're gonna get haters or whatever. So people in the comments were like, "Oh, that's a bad deal," and they're saying it's a bad deal because this house is vacant and this house is vacant, right? But as you see on the block, if you look at the block, right, there is someone living here, which is a good thing, and there's someone living here. So we can't see in the future, right? We wish we could, but we can't. So it takes 4 months to close on these properties. And I told my mentee, I said, hey, listen, in the next 4 months, let's use this as an opportunity because the way this looks to try to get this property on the right and try to get this property on the left. Now you can have all three and complete it and fix up this, this eyesore. So a lot of people look at this as, man, that's a bad deal. He don't know what he's doing. But mind you, if you got it for 3,000, right? 3,000, not talking about anybody's money, but easily you get what I'm saying? Like, if you had to, push come to shove, you could flip it. You get what I'm saying? If you bought it for 3, you could flip it for 6, for 10, for 20. Now, mind you, we did the research. The owner on this house on the right and the owner on this house on the left, they paid $20,000 each for these houses. This one cost, the one on the right cost 20, the one on the left cost 20. So mind you, first play, reach out to the owner and get him to sell us his houses because he's not doing nothing with them. That's our first play. We're gonna reach out to him, try to get him to give us one, or we're gonna find out, hey, how come you're not fixing them up? He may be like, oh, I was waiting for you to buy yours to fix my. You get what I'm saying? He may not want to fix his up because he's waiting on you to fix it up. We don't know that, but we have his information. One of the things we have is that real property. So I'm just gonna go there just to kind of give you guys everything and you can understand. And it's just so much information that we get from the site. So the address in question, we're gonna put in Baltimore City, street address. The address from the one house at a time was 13, I think it's 1365. So this one would be 1367 and one would be 1363, okay? So we're gonna go on as that, 1363. You just put the letter, the street is North Calhoun, so you just put the letter, and it came up, 1363, Diamond One Properties, boom. We scroll down to the bottom, they bought it for $20,000, okay? So this property, that's a shell next to the one that we just got for 3,000. My mentee got it for 3, which everyone's saying that's a bad deal. That's a bad deal. Why would he take that deal? They stupid. Their mentor don't know what he's talking about, right? The person who owns the property on the left is also a shell. They paid 20. Okay. So now if we can't get their property off of them, push come to shove, we sell. We sell them this and say, hey, listen, now if you bought it for 3 and you had closing costs, you had 5, and you sold it for 20, and you did this 4 months, you closed on it, and 4 months down the line, you bought it for 3 and you sold it for 20 and made $15,000 cash. Is that a bad move? Now you still get back your initial investment, which you paid, but if you just made $15,000 profit without doing anything, is that a bad investment? You know what I mean? So it's different strategies at play. One other thing I want to show you is that why Baltimore, right? Everybody wants to know why Baltimore. And they have a map called Code Map, and it's showing you the different impact investment areas, the community development zones. They're showing you all these impact investment areas and showing you that a lot is going on. Inside these yellow dotted lines, a lot of impact investment areas where now, once you rehab your house, the new owner can get, some additional funding and different things, but they're really trying to improve all these areas. So yes, some of these houses are in the hood, right? So the particular house that we were talking about, that was on North Calhoun or whatever. It's over here, but like I said, this whole area is getting revitalized. So where it might be the hood now, it may not be the hood later. I want to show you another HUD. This is of a property that was purchased from one house at a time, as you see, boom, $5,000, right? So some people ask me, Rashad, why do I have to wait 4 months to close? I don't understand. Why do I have to wait 4 months? Because it's a cloudy title, right? Look at all these liens. Look at all these liens. Property taxes, 2021, water bill, miscellaneous bills. You got all these bills. This is all the fines. So that's another, Maryland's It says my tax sale payoff 118, rental regulation 3,000, 2020. You get what I'm saying? They're paying all these back bills and allowing you to get the property for $5,000. You understand? You see the beauty in that? Why is this one house at a time thing a thing? It's a thing. You understand what I'm saying? They're getting rid of, like, traditionally, if you came and you had to pay for all of this, the house wouldn't be worth anything. But they're getting rid of all of these liens. They got rid of $148,000 in liens. So that's why, for me, one house at a time is the best deal in town. Steph, do you want to mention anything or want me to talk about anything or take any questions?
Oh, are you done now?
Well, I feel I want to answer. I'm not done, but I feel like I want to give some time for some questions, and that way, kind of just letting people know why I think that this is what we're doing. We're helping people get registered, and we're helping people get these properties, because these properties are the ones that are going for the low, and they're going quick. You understand? So not only, like I said, the mentorship is not just one house at a time. I'm going to teach you how to get properties out tax sale. I'm going to teach you how to get properties from the city. I'm going to teach you how to get properties from lawyers. May even be how to get properties from wholesalers. But for me, as far as price, this is the best deal in town.
Okay, so I just want to add that, of course, since I am part of it, I'm not just saying this, and most people who are on here and those who do not know that I just don't roll with everything. I would not be saying this is great if I didn't think it was, because I'm very honest up front. I don't have to scam nobody. Most of you know that I'm an educator and I'm too much out into the public to do that. This program, first of all, I cannot stress enough, where are you going to find properties this low? Then with this particular program, we have Ike, he's a funder, right? But not only that, he does construction. I had asked him to talk about some of the pitfalls in addition to that, because remember, the reason I'm asking people to participate in a mentorship is because you need your hand held. Just like you go anywhere else, the direction that you go, you need someone to tell you to help you get there. I don't want people to start investing out of state and they don't have any boots on the ground. They have no knowledge. You don't know anything about what's going on. I invested in Detroit initially. I still do. I still will be doing that. But I really didn't have anybody out there, so I had to put it on hold until I could actually find someone. There was no mentorship program. So I had to figure things out myself. When I heard about Rashad, it was because I was in our REI group that was in Philly. And I saw that and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, I cannot believe they have properties this low. Oh, please mute yourself, everyone. Let me see. Do I have to hold on. Right. Okay. So again, with this particular program, if you are part of the mentorship, I already do free credit analysis, but I will support you with your credit and the business credit. So that little gap that Ike was talking about that you might have to come out of pocket, again, like he said, there are so many different ways to actually fill that gap. It could be with business credit. It could be with HELOC. It could be with personal homes. There are different plays that I can tell you about so that you can actually get that money. I can't say enough about it. I actually got to do it. So I'm really glad, because that means that I'm being a lot more authentic, because I've actually had to experience it. You'll be able to see it as we're going through it. We're hoping, and I know for sure right now, that we have close to 10 people who will be coming with us on April 9th. If you don't still, if you're not ready for that, just stick with it for a moment till you can get to that place where you can do it. Because again, I think that Rashad, didn't you do some post about like people who were talking about Social Security? I actually got into investing because I'm an educator, and I found out that when I retired, I'm okay, but I would not have nowhere near the amount of money that I make now if I retired. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to supplement my income, my retirement. Where am I going to find properties that I can immediately, and I mean immediately, like within a year, to me, that's quick, have the opportunity to sort of like either keep investing in rent. I'm a buy and hold person, but if I needed to flip, I could do that as well. So that's about it. I don't think there's anything additional that I have to add.
I have a question.
Okay, Miss Barbara, what's going on? How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? My question is with West Initiatives. What's your first name, young man?
How you doing, man? My name is Isaac West. How you doing?
I'll put my camera on so you can see who I am. Anyway, how do you pre-qualify us? I mean,
So
if I'm gonna do, let me just finish. If I'm gonna do something like this, I would want to know that I have my funding secured and ready to go so that the amount of money that I know that I could put up, I have, you know, and wherever it's coming from, whether it's from my savings account or the credit cards or some other source. But I would want to know ahead of time,
right.
you know, before spending the plane ticket and whatever I'm going to have to do to spend the night and what have you. I need to know, you know, I need to put a cap on how much I would actually buy the house for, all of those things. I would need to know that I'm straight with you.
Right, yes, ma'am.
Can you do that?
Yes, ma'am. So what we usually do is you have to have a credit score of a 620 or better, and it'd be more of a mortgage side credit score. And we usually can fund, like I said, as far as from 90 up to 90% of the purchase price and 100% of the rehab. So what would happen is when you buy a property, we will actually put it in the system. And that's why we, as far as trying to figure out the ARV of the property, and based on the numbers of what it is, we can let you know how much percentage we can actually give you before you even make any purchases or wherever you accept the deal or do anything like that.
And what about
Does that make sense?
what about the $90,000 that has to be secure up front to the Maryland, to the state or to the county or whoever, to one house at a time?
Well, that as far as if you had to buy something off one house at a time, you would still do it in a contract. We would all do it at the title company.
But
So
didn't you just?
That's just a pre-approval that you would get.
You talk about the pre-approval. Okay, so additionally, how one house at a time work is every $90,000 that you have for it equals one house. So a lot of times what we tend to do is we can approve you to 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, whatever houses, however how many houses that you want as far as when it comes to that thing. So once we pre-approve you, you go choose what house you want. So what will happen is once you have that pre-approval letter, then Rashad would take that to the one house at a time. Once he takes it to the one house at a time, they will give you a call and say, hey, you've been approved for 3 houses. So then you would go bid on the 3 houses, up to 3 houses of whatever you decide to buy. And then once you buy that house, then that's when you come to us and you have those 4 months to come up with whatever the number is as far as 5,000, 10,000, whatever purchase price of the house. Mm-hmm. And we actually will fund up 90. So for example, if your house was 100,000 and we put it in the system and it came out, so we fund 90 up to 90, and it came up to actually 90,000, you only putting down $10,000 of that $100,000 purchase price of the house in simple math. And we still are funding 100% of the rehab.
So in other words, you're saying that if the house that I end up bidding on bids up to 100,000, I only have to put 10% of that down?
Yeah, you initially, and we will cover the rest. But it also depends on the ARV and the area. So that's the good thing about the mentorship as far as on Rashad. He will be able to show you, hey, this is the $200,000 area. When you guys shop around, this is what this price is worth based on, for example, I believe in, like me personally, I don't usually put down 20% on a brand new house in Baltimore. From my experiences of when I started out with, especially with Rashad, I could tell you my whole story. I don't want to be too long with it, but I'll break it down really quick. So when we first started out, I was buying houses and I was just putting down the 20%, thinking these houses are good. Just trying to do it to figure out that we was doing it the right way. And when I did that, a lot of times in Baltimore, I had bad contractors at the time. So they was basically not fixing up the house. They call it lipstick on a pig. That's what they call it down in Baltimore. So when I started seeing that and I realized I started spending more money, fixing up more money. So after I had already bought the house with 20%, like right now, it's a house that I bought back in 2020 when I initially first started the process of this, that I'm actually regutting and doing it the right way. Because in Baltimore, people hide so many different things and it's hard to trust. When me and Rashad first started, we both came in blind and was like, oh man, these houses are cheap. Let's jump in, let's do it. The houses look good, all these different things. So now the beauty of this part right here is that since you're already buying it for cheap and you're gutting it anyway, you also get your money back in the process. So for example, if you went all in on a house and paid $5,000 for it, put 100,000 into it, and the ARV is 200,000. A lot of times, when you do your refinance, we can refinance up to 80%, but we would refinance. Say you qualify for 75%. That's $150,000 back. So now it covers the purchase price, and you also make an additional $40,000 to where you can go and buy the next deal and do whatever you need to do as far as when it comes to these houses.
Right. I think I guess the $90,000,
right,
which is what you said that the state wants to, one house at a time required you to be able to prove that can actually come from the lender?
Right, exactly. Yes, ma'am.
It's a pre-approval, proof of funds.
Yeah,
Okay.
so hard money is the same thing as initial cash. It's
Yeah,
all the same thing as cash. Yes, ma'am.
I understand that. I think the last time I was on one of these meetings, we were talking with Steph that she could figure out a way to have 90,000 maybe through credit cards and what have you. But now it seems like you guys have come up with even a better way to have the funds available.
Well, it's not necessarily the funds available up front. They just want to have a pre-approval. They want you to just have, like, you have a line of credit, and that could be in any type of way. It doesn't necessarily even have to be from the lender. They just want to know that you have $90,000 available to you, and it could be a they just want to have the paperwork saying that.
And that can be from the lender, part of it.
It could most definitely be a pre-approval, just like when you go to
be a pre-approval. Okay, I just want to be sure that part is, because you know what, my business credit cards are kind of all over the place.
I know. But now, just based upon your credit score where it's at, you will be able to, because I personally know, you will be able to be approved, and it's a pre-approved for that amount. All right. So I did it this week and I got pre-approved. And I really didn't know until I initially just did $90,000 to be really transparent. And then after talking to Rashad, he was like, you could go back and get more. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went back, and I'm talking about after I had already, because this particular auction allows you to do that. I went back after I was approved for one house, and I submitted paperwork to show that I could be approved for 2 houses. So then that was like within 24 to 48 hours. And then I was approved for even more. So this is just a pre-approval, just like when you go to buy any property, they just want to have a piece of paper saying that you are approved if need be to get that funding from a lender, or if you have it yourself. So with this as part of this mentorship and part of having Ike as part of that team, of course, we're going to vet you just like anyone else. Like he said, your credit score has to be at the minimum, of that. And then if that flies, it goes through, then of course you'll have that paperwork that you can submit. And just as Rashad said, in addition to that, this particular auction requires that you also have had some experience with rehab. And so
in Baltimore,
but not even in Baltimore, but just particularly in Baltimore. And with Rashad and also I guess with Ike having that experience, you can somewhat be like underneath them, and then that will support you being able to
Okay.
get approved. All right,
Okay.
hope
Yeah,
I cleared that up.
also I want to elaborate on one more thing too, especially with the credit card situation. Also, the beauty of that too with the business credit cards that Stephanie brings to you guys, that even with that $10,000 that you have to bring down to the table, that can come from your credit cards.
Right.
And basically like all the funds. So now you essentially not even paying anything out of pocket, but you're just making those monthly payments. And the beauty is what I tell people is I'm not the hard money lender that's going to try to, all right, man, it's a 12-month term. And my goal is, especially with our team, as far as the construction side, our goal is to try to get you out of that deal within 4 or 5 months based on Baltimore City codes, Baltimore, because it's just a whole process. We got permits, we do everything the whole nine. But the goal is to get you, hurry up and get you out of that hard money. You don't want to do extensions because that hurts the customer. So our goal is, and the only way you can do that is you got to have the right construction team to make that happen.
Right.
So in the so for the hard money lending side, and then not only that, if you default on those loans of that 4 or 5 months, not only affects you, but also affects me because it shows that I'm bringing in bad business, bad customers, and things to our team as far as what we're doing. So because we do it, like you said, as far as an all-in-one package, we try to make sure you're secure. You can check on your house. We take pictures. We do everything. We like for people to come in. I have 14 properties myself in Baltimore myself that we kind of fund and kind of do ourselves. So, but there's so many different layers of this thing. Now, I'm sorry.
You have a big enough team to do a number of houses to make sure that you're not overextending yourself?
Right. Yes, ma'am. We have a team. We have 40 people. We have 40 people on our team. As far as 40, so we have 5 groups of framers. We have 3 electricians, 3 plumbers. We have the whole. We have the whole 9. Yes, ma'am. But if we get to a point to where we always let people know, hey, this could be the process, and we give you the timelines. We don't meet our timelines. Y'all can take money from us. That's how we operate.
I'm not unexperienced in flipping. I've flipped houses before, and I've been the owner contractor, so I've hired and done all of that. But I don't know Baltimore, and I haven't done it in a long time. But I know the process.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Real quick, guys, I just want to thank you guys. Ike, thank you for that, and Steph. And I just wanted to just show you a property real quick, right? So this property, as you see, is for sale for $400,000. Now, I put in 2 addresses in the thing to show you the difference. One of the addresses is 1365 North Calhoun, which is this property, which was just purchased for $3,000, right? So an appraiser, they're gonna look at a 1 mile radius. So, and that house literally is in that 1 mile radius, okay? Because it's right there, it's 3 minutes away. Now this property is 1 minute away, and that's the one that I bought from one house at a time for $5,000. So this is, you get what I'm saying? This property that I bought for $5,000 has the potential to be, even if it's not $399, let's say I sold it for $350, $300. It probably will cost me $175, $200 to make it like this. But and I could make $100,000. So they're letting these properties go. This property that was sold for $5,000, they had 3 properties all next to each other selling for the same price, and no one wanted it. You understand? No one wants it. So just because sometimes we feel like, oh, somebody don't want it, it ain't no good. Listen, there is gold in the hood. There is gold in the hood. So I just want you guys know that there's a lot of opportunities, and me being a realtor and investing in Baltimore, I know different areas. I know different comps. I already know certain areas, and I already know the comps. I already know this is a $300,000, $400,000 comp. And that's just now, right? Let me show you something real quick. That's just now. Let me get on the map. So some of these areas, if you see here on this map, let me just zoom out a little bit. You see this Bolton Hill? The houses in this Bolton Hill area are 800, 900, 700, 600. Midtown, 800, 900. Some of these areas are going to trickle down. So where it might be 400 now, in the year, 2 years, 3 years, this might be 600,000. So everybody wants the now. Like, I want what's hot now, but they don't want to pay the now price. But sometimes you got to look into the future and see, where will the next area be? Where's the next hot area? Me, I'm in Harlem Park. I like Harlem Park because of, it's not too many, like this 800,000 is trickling. I'm next. Harlem Park is next. Look at Harlem Park.
How far away is Harlem Park from there?
Say it again.
How far away is Harlem Park from the area that you just, what is it, Bolton Hills?
Bolton Hill, Harlem Park is, it's not that many blocks. It probably.
Oh, it's just blocks.
Yeah, well, it's blocks, but this might be 1.2, one. It's not that far. It may be
Couple
like
of miles.
Yeah, like 2 miles, if that, if not a mile and
Okay.
a half. It's not that far.
Where are your houses, Stephanie?
Her houses are in this area in Arlington. They're up here, but they're still okay. In Arlington, you see Hampton in the middle. These areas are expensive areas. So Gwen Oak, it's a lot of areas. I'm just talking about why I invest in Harlem Park. But there's still good deals in Central Park Heights. It's still good deals all over Baltimore. But I'm just saying, specifically, I'm in Harlem Park and I landed there. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes when you land in a place, you make it your home. I landed in Harlem Park. Now that's
Where you're planted.
right. So he's on the east side. He's over here on the east side. So he landed on the east side. He don't come to the west side really. He on the east side. So sometimes wherever you are, you kind of can make a place your home.
Well, even if wherever you are, you guys have scoped out the area and the ARVs before you even bid on the houses. Is that right?
We kind of just know zip codes, and like I said, we will have the mentors. We'll get a list of all the properties that are going to be on the next auction, and we will go over them, and give a tour and tell people, this is how much you should bid on this. This is what the ARV is in this area. But pretty much we kind of know how much properties cost to rehab, whether it's a 2-story, 3-story. We even know the process and how to the multi-unit, which people want to do. And all these things, all these different things cost, right? Like knowing how to make a property a multi-unit or not knowing, somebody might tell you, oh, you got to have this, you got to have that. Oh, you got to pay this person $5,000. Oh, you got to pay this architect $30,000. But then when you have somebody who knows how to do this stuff, it's saving you money. So even though
you guys know how to rezone the properties.
Say it one more time.
So you guys already know how to rezone the properties or whatever they have to be in order to make a multi-families.
Yes, we know how to make a multi-family conversion. We know the steps, we know the process, and that way we can get on it sooner than later and not pay our architect or engineer a whole lot of money to do it for us when we know how to do it ourselves.
Okay. That's because I'm interested in multifamily if I'm going to keep something.
I understand.
Okay. So thank you, Ms. Barbara, for always asking great questions. And there are questions that some people might not even think of. So I'm glad that you asked those questions because I know you want to know. Are there are there any other questions? Because it's getting close to 8 o'clock. I tried to be off by 8:15. Raise your hand, Sabrina. I appreciate that. And then we'll let Rashad go ahead. Sabrina, you can ask your question.
Hello, and thank you so much for this Zoom call. I'm really, really excited. I just have a question. So I'm definitely interested in this whole program, but I'm also interested in the buy and hold aspect of it. So I'm just wondering, how do I get out of the hard money lender? So if I'm buying the property, I'm rehabbing it, and it's wonderful, but I want to keep it. How do I get out of that hard money into a mortgage?
Right. So pretty much,
Oh,
you want me to tell Ike, or you got it?
yeah, I was gonna tell them. So basically, you can do both. So we do purchase and we do flicks and flips, rehabs, and all these different things. You can actually, once you finish, we'll go back in, get the house reappraised, and we'll do the refinance. You have to have a tenant in place. Once you have the tenant in place, we also have people that do tenant placements. So we have ones for the Latino community. If you prefer to go Latino, we have some for Section 8. If you prefer to go Section 8 as well, and they put them in there. So usually what they do, they would charge them the first month rent. They would charge you the security deposit, the first month rent, to get these tenants in place, and then we start a refinance process. Also, what we also do is, because I know a lot of different lenders, because for us, if your credit score is under 660, we have other lenders that you can go to, that, because I'm all about getting out of the loans, getting out of the deals that you can go to. So say your credit score is up low to 620. We sometimes use another guy that we have by the name of Tim, that we would use him to get the deal done, to refinance and get you out of that deal. But our whole goal, like I said, is to get you out within those 4 months, and you'll be in and out and just kind of go from there.
Do you do DSCR loans? Is that how you get them?
Yes, ma'am. That's the actual. I'll put our brochure in the chat, but that's it right there. Rashad is kind of pulling it up, and that's basically how we kind of operate fix and flips, ground up, multifamily bridge loans, and it gives the minimum credit score as far as how much we lend and things of that nature.
And there might be some people who, because just like there's so many different people in here with different experiences. So some people might not know the terms, but for the DSCR, you can explain that to them. I mean, I've said it on my credit piece, and I give out a whole free webinar on it, and I've said it on here, but I'm going to let the actual lender tell you what a DSCR loan is, so that you'll understand it. And then, like, part of the mentorship is exactly that, is you're going to learn different strategies, terminology, and just how to move. Like, if you've never done this before, that's why you most definitely need to. And I'm not just pushing this, like, I'm just telling you, I just want to make sure that you do this successfully. I don't want anyone to go out here and say, oh, I want to go to the auction, buy something, and don't know what they're doing. And a couple months later, they done lost their money and probably lost their mind. So I'm just sitting here, like, I want you to, like, know that I'm an advocate of making sure, like, after you learn this process, then you have that knowledge that you can use, and you can do it later on. You want to have someone go where you have not been. The fastest way for you to get rich, I hate when people talk about, oh, you got to get slow. It's to be slow. No, we don't have time. We don't have time to waste. You want to see results. You want to see action soon. And the best way to do it is to have someone who has already done it show you how to do it. That's how people are successful. People talk to me all the time about different things, and I'm always like, do you know? Because prior to me working in all of this, I worked at a hedge fund. People have somebody to coach them, let's put coach, or run all of their businesses. They have someone to teach them every aspect of finance. So that's it. Anyway, if you can share some information and tell everyone exactly what a DSCR loan is, that would be really thank you.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. No worries. Yeah. So for DSCR, it stands for debt service coverage ratio. So what that means is, for example, sorry, I apologize. So what that means is basically, say you have a rent. I'm just gonna bring it in simple math, and your rent is $1,500, and they call it like a 1-to-1 ratio. Certain banks have 1-to-1, certain banks have 1.5. So if your rent is $1,500, in order to qualify to get approved for it, your mortgage have to be $1,500. So that's the 1-to-1 ratio as far as with DSCR. And the reason why it's good is because you don't need to have no docs, no income verifications. You don't have to have the immediate income verification towards those things. All you got to do is have basically like a letter. As far as on our end, what you can do as far as our end, say you finish your house in May, and you got a tenant coming in June or July, they would approve you for that and start you in June based on no verification. For most banks, which is the best way to say it in a simple way. For most banks, what they would do is most banks will ask for security deposit, 6 months, 6 months to 2 years of rental history and things of that nature. You avoid all that with the DSCR loans in simple math. And it makes it easier for you to refinance, and also too, especially it being in a where it don't even show on your personal credit. So it's so many pros to those things when it comes to DSCR.
Can you tell them the difference between the DSCR and the bridge loan, which is basically the same but for a shorter period, but you can sort of help.
Yeah, the bridge loan, as far as on our bridge loan or as far as the actual
you could just give them some information, because some people, if they hear that and they see it, they won't know what it is.
Oh, so as far as with the bridge loan, basically what you would do is say you have a house, for example, to where you have 12 months. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm sorry, my phone keep cutting out. Trying to stop people from calling me. Hold on just a second. Hello? All right, I'm sorry. I apologize. Can you hear me? All right. Oh,
Yes,
so
sir.
as far as the bridge loan, a bridge loan is almost similar to where they give you it's almost just like how we doing as far as the grounds and things of that nature, as far as the 12-month terms that you have to have the house in good standing, fixed up, and things of that nature. What I mean by that, as far as with the bridge, is that you're actually doing on our end, you're actually doing construction, and it's same thing more of a hard money too, as far as what we're doing versus DSCR is basically on the DSCR side. You have a tenant, you have rented, you're getting out of the deal. On bridge loans, you're doing more of a flip type standpoint within those 12 months to try to get the house taken care of. If that makes sense. Are you following me?
That was confusing. You got to say it better than me.
I'm trying to find the simple math to say it on the DSCR and the bridge.
Wait a minute. Let me see if the DSCR loan is the house is already rented. The bank is going to give you. Wait, let me finish. The bank is going to give you the money based on the rent. Well, I just want to make sure that the other person understands.
You find me.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Barbara.
Okay.
The rent equals the mortgage or more, and you don't have to prove any income of your own because the building pays for itself. Now, let me understand this bridge part. That's what I don't understand. What the bridge part is, if you go past the 12 months and it's not fixed up, you come in and you continue the loan. Explain that part.
The bridge loan would be more of almost similar to what we're doing as far as with this hard money type situation, as far as you fixing up a property. So for example, when you actually do the fix and flip, that is considered a bridge loan. So if you're paying $3,000 for a property, the rehab budget is $100,000. That's considered the bridge loan of what we're doing.
Yes.
You understand that? As far as on the DSCR part is already
when it's finished.
Yes, basically when it's finished, and you now getting a tenant to where you don't show no income dots, and then you basically getting out. So that way out from, I forgot which lady that was asking about it.
And you refinance it pretty much.
Yeah, as far as the
because you're going to pull the
refinance
money out at that
Hey,
point.
Rashad,
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
is that bridge loan is almost like a wraparound?
It's not a wraparound. It's just the term that's used for the hard money, because it's short-term lending.
Yeah, it's a hard money loan that is just for 12 months. And then if you go over, sometimes they might extend it and you pay a little bit more. But it's basically sometimes for people who, it's a hard money loan. That's exactly what it is. It's just another name for it. Are there any other questions? Because we're getting ready to wrap up in about 12 more minutes. And I see, raise your hand. I have Lola. She raised her hand. She's been waiting. And then I think I'm going to take, after that, 3 more. Not that I want to cut you guys, but I know there were some people who were actually waiting to ask questions, and they were raising their hand. And I had said that earlier. I'm a teacher. I'm a principal, actually. So I'm sorry. Those who do the right thing, I'm gonna actually address them first. All right, let's go. Lourdes. And then Daryl, let me see who else. Hold on, maybe I waited so long.
Oh, I'm sorry, my face wasn't there.
Okay, who was going first? Lourdes, are you still there? If
Yeah, I'm
not,
here. I don't know what I pressed.
okay,
but
then Daryl, oh, did you want to ask a question or not?
yes, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you, Lo.
So how do we go about applying to be a part of this next auction and being a part of the group that's going? Because you said there's like 10 or so, or is it no more seats available, or how
No,
do we, you know?
He can drop the link. Rashad, drop the link inside the chat, and then I'll drop the link also for you. So that is in, like, no, we have more. We're starting out with whoever can come. Like, we really want to go down there in full force so that people can see, you know, what's going on. And the mentees are the ones who are going to actually have all these advantages. Like, where are you going to be able to go somewhere right now? You have to register within, I think, like the next 2 weeks. And then you're going to be able to get a pre-approval. So I don't see anything. I don't know. I'm biased. So anyway.
And then my final question, could you just talk a little bit about the auction? Is it like on the court stairs? Do we go to the actual property? Like,
Oh, because you weren't here, Lo. I showed the video last week.
oh, I'm sorry.
I might bring it up a little bit, but it was actually for my first time. I had been on online auctions before, but I had never been in person. I stayed at the hotel where the auction was being held. You don't have to do that, but I was coming from out of town and I didn't want to be late. So I went to the auction. It was in a hotel, and in the hotel, before you walk in, they asked to see a certified check, which I have for each property, which was $3,000. And then you don't have to have that because it's public. And we walked in. And then after that, we sat down, and then it started with the auctioneer. And then he was doing it in different increments. I, being brand new, almost like overbid. Thank God for Rashad. You have a full list, and I'll show that again. You have a full list of the properties. And fortunately, again, like having someone there with me, I was able, with him telling me like which ones were the ones that I should and the ones that I should not bid on. And then it's you, and I think it was maybe over 70, up to like over 70 people, and it was 28 properties. And it was like, it started at 5,000. And the reason that person got that bid, that 5,000, because it was the first one. And I'm not sure if people were nervous in the room, but no one countered. So if we go down there, somebody better bid first because they might be able to get that property for $5,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Daryl Coleman, you can go now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everyone. Question. For Isaac, right? I think.
Yes, sir.
The sister said that when you was talking earlier, Rashad said that you would, when you do the one house at a time, that you have to have the construction underneath you when you live in Baltimore. Even though you might live in Baltimore, you still had to have done flips and stuff like that. With going through one house at a time and using you as construction, are you saying that then we're under the same umbrella as construction that has been done? Because usually with the hard money, they want you to have done flips and have your name on deeds or LLCs that have done or secured flips in the past or things like that. How does that work with you?
Yeah, so with us, because I'm more like, that's the good thing about it, is that I can be inside. So because we have like underwriters and things of that nature, I always kind of inform. They kind of let me know what's going on in the process of how to get this loan through. But now because of that mentorship, and I can let them know that, hey, I'm doing this loan with them. So that's why I was saying that when it comes to you guys doing it with us in the process, I'm basically having to vouch for you in this process of getting this loan done. And I'm gonna make sure this thing is done within 4 or 5 months, because if you guys default on this loan, it affects me as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So what you're saying
Okay.
is that so through this process of us getting the house and everything else, through Rashad securing financing and all the other things, that you're the go-to for the construction?
Right, yes, sir. So when we do when we do the one house at a time program, they look for people that have been on this program before, and that has successfully completed the process of the one house at a time, as far as getting these houses done and taken care of. So through Rashad's mentorship and putting out the money, like I got a couple houses on one house at a time as well. But through those mentorships and things of that nature, of them seeing him on there, it's like a trust factor. You see what I'm saying? Like, hey, you can't come to the table and eat if I haven't seen you eat before. I don't know this guy. Hey, so Rashad brings you in and say, hey, man, he with me. All right, you good to go. Let's make it happen, Mr. Coleman.
Right. Okay. And last question. As far as the financing goes, you said you need to have a credit score of 620 and above,
Right, yes, sir.
to get financing. Now, for a pre-approval letter, let's say we go and we look at, okay, we say we have 5 houses that we want to go and have a credit score of 700 and above. With the financing, I would have to put down how much if I wanted to get like 4 houses?
Also, it depends on the houses that you buy. So, if you buy a house for 5,000, and then we can go look at it, see what the construction budget is as far as with that, and then you would do the complete package in that deal to kind of make things happen.
And the financing, if we have, let's say we do it through the idea that we're going to buy the houses through one house at a time. I don't know if vacants to value plays any part in your scenario, but also outside of that, what if there's a for sale by owner and things like that? Could this same pre-approval be used for that and the same process, but not buying a house from one house at a time?
Right, yeah, you can use it for one house at a time. You can use it for MLS deals. You can use it for basically, you can use it for anything. That is
Okay.
essentially like a cash offer deal. And then we just go through the process to make sure you qualified up to get approved for the loan and then go from there. And
Got you.
also too, with one house at a time, they only allow you to get up to 10 properties a year.
Okay. Okay.
But
So
I
you
would,
guys fund in other states then? Are you saying that you're not just funding for one house at a time, you could fund other
Right,
places
yes, ma'am. We
in
can fund other
Maryland
states.
and
Yes,
other
ma'am. We fund
states?
other. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
real quick, I want to just touch on the one house at a time piece. Regardless of, I do suggest that whenever you're bidding, bid on properties that you can pay for. So don't bid 100,000 and looking for a hard money lender to come to the rescue. Bid on properties that you can pay for, because sometimes when it comes to new investors, the underwriters, it's more skin in the game when you own the property, when you have site control. So sometimes it's best you buy the property and now you're the owner. You have site control. Then you get the loan. Not, oh, I need you guys to help me buy this property because I bid 100,000. So I'm not suggesting you bid 100,000 on the house if you don't have $100,000. I'm suggesting you bid 5,000 if you got 5,000. You bid 10 or 20. I'm suggesting you bid those numbers so you can pay for that property in cash, need be, and then you go to the lender and get the money for the rehab, and they'll do 100% construction. But it makes you, especially being new, it makes you be a stronger candidate if you already own it, as opposed to you asking them for help. So now they can't do it, but I'm just telling you what I suggest. I'm not out here advocating for anybody to buy a house for $100,000 at the auction and then reach out to the lender and say, hey, I want to do this. I'm not advocating that. I'm saying bid on what you can pay for.
And then in this particular mentorship, if I'm correct, like I know even with me, I came with that $3,000 certified check. I was not bidding anything over $30,000. I just wasn't. It's brand new. I would advise everyone to have that same type of mindset, because it's going to be a brand new process for you. So we just want to make sure we're setting you up for success. Are there any other questions? Because it's getting at that time. If you have any, I think Rashad put his information in there. Isaac put his information in there. Those of you, if you receive this from me or you see me, you already know my information, but on IG, I'm Miss Credit Coach or my homegirl staff. Any questions? Anything that you want to know more of, just hit me up. I'll pass it on to both of them or hit them up. You see, I'm already like, I think I've been showing Rashad stuff like every day. So you'll be able to just find his information right up there. Anything, anybody have any more questions?
The only thing, Steph, is I don't see Mr. West's info in the chat. I see Rashad's, but I don't see.
I thought he put a PDF. Rashad put his, it says West Lending DSCR PDF. It's in the chat.
Got it. I'll download it. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
West Initiatives Construction. He said he's gonna have his website up very soon. I think this was informative. I appreciate both of them coming on to share this information. You know, like this is the year we're trying to build wealth and move differently. You know, and if you're not, someone says it's like wrap around. I'm like, yeah, somebody asks is hands on. It most definitely is. Like you will you will be able to get your questions answered. Some of us know we've been in other I've been in about 7 different mentorships. And sometimes you don't get your questions answered. This is an opportunity right now to also get your questions answered. So if you have any reservations, just reach out. All right. So everyone, please just say thank you to both Rashad and to Ike for sharing this information with us this evening. You can,
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
And guys, I do want to let you know that there are so many opportunities for properties other than the auction, okay? There's so many opportunities. So don't think that, okay, the auction only had 28 houses. We can't get you a house. There's so many opportunities. We got so many different ways to get these houses. Myself and Ike have wholesalers who contacting us all the time about properties. I got these properties for sale. So that's another way to get properties. We're getting them from the wholesaler. We're getting properties from the lawyer. We're getting properties from the tax sale. We're getting properties from the government. It's going to be a lot of different ways. And just because the nature of what it is, I can't tell you all the ways on a free Zoom. Now, for my mentees, I'm going to have different plays for them. Today, Stephanie, I told her about a property that I found on her block. So now instead of having 2 houses, she can get 3 houses on the same block. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Because you guys may not know it, I'm going to just put everybody in the group email and say, these are the plays of the month. And y'all go get them. These are the plays. But I'm going to make sure that everyone knows how to do what I do. And I want to have everyone coached up the same way. So you guys in good hands. Like Stephanie said, there's so many other mentorships. They have different things. You're not going to be able to get your questions. Some charge $165 an hour just to talk. So you guys in good hands.
No, honestly, you are. I would not vouch for it any like people know, and I do. Like I like Rashad because he does give more, and I'm quite sure, like even with Ike, like they're giving a lot of information. Tonight, we're giving you a whole lot of information. So just imagine if you were in the group. All right. So I'm hoping some of you will be there on what's the date, Rashad? April what?
April 9th.
April
And actually
9th.
registration is April 2nd, but we kind of want to get, they're going to put the list out. So
The
we
second
kind
week
of,
in March.
yeah, we want to get ahead of the curve. We want to go look at the properties. You know, we want to get you straight ahead of time. So definitely, get in and let's get this started. Let's get your you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we
let's
got a couple people
get
on here
done.
who already signed up. So
Okay,
they're
congratulations.
excited. They're looking forward to it. We're going to go down and look at the properties in advance. So that
And we
you.
can also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
we
no
also
worries.
have,
Go ahead.
but we also, and then if you ever can reach out and give me a call too, we can show you the construction and the properties that we are doing, so you can kind of get a blueprint or get like just a little visual of the things that we do, and that way you can kind of,
Is your
like
number
I
in the
said, when it comes,
PDF?
say it again, I'm sorry.
Is your number in the PDF?
Yes, sir, and I also put it in the chat as well.
He did.
My number as well, so you can check it out. But like whenever you're in Baltimore, just give me a call, or whenever
Be
you
there in the
guys
morning.
plan on going there, we'll be available, and you can kind of see the work that we're doing.
Okay.
So the mentees, that's one of the things that I'm going to tell you, one of the best things I had the opportunity to do was when I went down there, Rashad took me to some of the properties, and both myself and then Matt and Amir, we were like in awe because you got to see the different progressions of what's possible. So we saw properties that were just like nothing done yet, to those that were being rehabbed, renovated, till we actually visited someone else's property. You guys saw that last week where I said that cafe, where it was like fully done. It was like amazing. So I think that also puts it all in perspective. Like, yes, you might pay a little, you might think that it might be impossible, but actually I got to see it completely done. Okay, Sabrina, did you raise your hand again?
I did. I just have another question. How close are these properties to Morgan State?
I
These
know what Morgan State
properties
is, yeah.
aren't necessarily near Morgan State, but there are properties. If that's what you want properties near Morgan State, then we can hone in on that for you. You get what I'm saying? Like properties just come out. The
Yeah,
list
Morgan State's east side. Yeah, that's like the east side. That's like my type of area.
no, Morgan State is up here, like right in this area. Let me see. Hold on. Morgan State is up in here, but they have properties that are near Morgan State. It just where we can't control the list. But if you saying, hey, I want properties near Morgan State, we will hone in on that area and see what's near Morgan State that's available.
And just like
I'm
Rashad said, that
excited. Thank you.
we're not just, he said that there's other strategies for you to get properties in the areas that you may want that the one house at a time might not have. So I think that's what it's not just the auction, it's also the opportunity to learn different ways to acquire those properties. Am I right, Rashad?
Yes, you're totally right. So like, as you see, we have the tax sale list. Let's say you know that a particular block is in Morgan State. You might know the zip code. We look at, okay, the street is Midwood. Okay, we're gonna look at Midwood. Okay, we got this in Midwood. We're gonna reach out and find out what's available. Then we also have other maps that show us what's available near Morgan State. So it's a lot of ways. It's a lot of ways for us to get you what you want and hone in on areas that you may want to be in. So for me, I hone in on Harlem Park. So I'm looking for streets that's in Harlem Park, and I see the street, then I hone in on it, and I go from there. So everybody has a different area. Some people want to be in Druid Hill or Druid Heights. So that's McCullough. So these McCullough streets, these are properties that are in Druid Heights. So you see, okay, this one, they only owe 4,000. This one they owe we don't want that 95,000 because that's too much. This one they owe 2,000. And then we would see, okay, what lawyer might have foreclosed on it. Then we reach out to the lawyer. So this property right here, 2023 McCullough, this is a block. You see that? Let me close it out. This is a block away from this block property. You see what I'm saying? A block away, so that may be the play. We might say, okay, we want McCullough. Let's see if there's something 1938 McCullough, $3,000. This is what they owed in back taxes. $3,000, $2,000. Look at the house that they flipped. The person owed $1,000. Do you see this, y'all?
Yes.
You see this 1930 McCullough, the person owed $1,000, meaning that more than likely somebody got it off their hands, and now they selling it for $400,000.
Mm,
Do you see what I'm talking about?
mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's what you'll get in the mentorship. He may not tell you guys nothing else.
I'm just saying, 19, look,
I just messing with you.
1930.
Yeah,
They
and
paid-
one thing too, the beauty of the permits, as far as when you do those things, those houses can sometimes be considered vacant. So that's why you also want to go through the whole process, because you won't sell it if it's still vacant, and then that's when you have fines and liens and other issues.
So this is where the deals are coming from. A lot of people don't know it. They just see, how did this person get the property? They just flipped it. No, they got it for 1,000.
I
They
know.
about to make a killing. Now, mind you, they probably paid 5,000 for that. But you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I know how to get these. I know how, as I showed you the post with me talking to the lawyer, I know how to get these. It's so many ways, y'all. And it's people out here making a killing. The house, $2,000. This is all they owed. They probably lost the house for 2,000, lost the house for 3,000, lost the house for 1,200, 1,000, 570. Yeah, this is, and this list is just ridiculous. This list, look at the list. So when you're worried about properties, there are properties out there. Yes, one house at a time is the icing on the cake. They got 20-something houses. This list has hundreds of houses on it. And we can hone in on it. We can talk to the lawyer. We can find out how much they want, and we can get you these properties. We could even talk to the owner. Do you hear me, y'all? This Lamb LLC, we can find out who the owner is. He only owed 1,000. He may not care about it no more. We go to Lamb LLC, man, I give you 3,000 for that. He says yes. Now we got the property. Come on, y'all. It's too easy. But no one's doing it though, right? Right? It's so easy. It's so many investors out there, but ain't nobody talking about this strategy. Nobody's telling you this. It's all these investors on our Instagram. How come none of them telling you about this?
So everybody see the opportunities that are available.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess everyone's just. I asked the other day why everyone was so quiet, and someone told me because they're taking it all in, and it's
Yeah, that's a lot to take in.
it's a
How
lot
much,
to-
how much is the mentorship? Might as well get down to what we gotta, what gotta come out first.
It's 5,000, and you know, I was open to payment plans, and I still might be, but Steph said no. So, it's 5,000 is the mentor.
No payment plans. None.
But
If you need help with getting I know Miss Barbara, you got fans.
I got what?
You got fans. You got fans. They said we love Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara cut to the chase. She don't got time to be running around the bush like love.
That's right. I need a senior discount.
You want a senior discount? But this is the truth. It's like, you know that we were it's $5,000 only because you this, but if you need, what you think I'd be helping you guys get business credit for?
No, I'm good with it. I just wanted to,
yeah. I'm talking about for the other people, if you need that. And then maybe it could be 2 payments, but it has to be like 2 payments within the month, because really we got to hurry up and get this started. So no, we have to start, and waiting around for payments is just too much. I've already did the payment thing, so people know I'm not all for it.
Right.
I'm helping Rashad get his stuff right. Okay, Shawana, who else? Shawana, go ahead. You can ask a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, is this like for a year, or is this like for life, or does this have a limit? How long the mentorship is?
It's like a 2-year mentorship. But once I know you, kind of like it's like if I sell a house for somebody. I sold a house for them, but they still have access to me. So It's like a 2-year life mentorship.
Okay.
But
Well,
I'm saying
thank
I
you.
still may want to retire one day. So I don't want to be like, yo, son, you gotta. I'm like, man, it's 5 years
Okay.
ago.
All right.
But
Thank
listen,
you.
Joanna, after you do it, after a while, you'll be able to do it on your own. And plus, they're gonna never, because all of the ones who know me, probably be still texting me 5 years
For
later.
sure. For sure. Thank you both.
All right, Daryl, go ahead.
Yeah.
And this is the last question. Somebody text me talking about, oh, this call gonna go forever, ever. I won't call you out. But all right, let's go. But people have questions and we want to answer them. So go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't have any more questions.
Okay, I saw it had raised your hand. Maybe it didn't go down. So I
Oh,
think that this is it. We are grateful for those who actually showed up to learn something new. And then any last things you want to say, Rashad and Ike, before I end it?
Just thank everybody for coming out. And like I said, you don't have to go with me. I told you where to go, one house at a time, showed you the tax sale. You can try it on your own. And, I just happened to learn on my own, but it took me a long time. I wish I had a mentor who could have just helped me skip to the front of the line.
Yeah, and I want to say I just appreciate the opportunity just and the platform. Thank you, Steph, for giving us the opportunity just to talk about the things. Shoot, I ain't gonna lie, I love Baltimore. I'm always in Baltimore. It's hard for me to leave Baltimore. And I just like I said, I think Baltimore, like I said, I think it went up 24% as far as with the growth as far as on the housing part and everything. And just thank you for the time.
Okay, well, everyone
Right.
have a good evening. And again, reach out if you want more information. Good night, everybody.
good night.